Everybody over the past few weeks, I feel, has made announcement after announcement. They're going here, they're going there, they're wrestling that person, they're wrestling this person, they had something happen here, they had something happen there. But this man literally may have had the biggest announcement of anyone recently. I'm going to tell you why. Let's just say he's going in for some combat. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what's ahead here the next day, where he's going to certainly have a day of atonement for, let's just say, somebody that, well, he's in a group with in a company that's NEW or new. He's also going to talk about a guy that's almost the deathmatch version of Jeff Hardy, who certainly creates havoc, and a guy that's last name is controversy. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about what happened in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Our guest was here a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about going on a big trip to Pennsylvania, and he's going to explain that. He's also going to talk about what's going on in X-Brand Wrestling, and I feel like at this point, this man is literally the definition of the unholy traveler, because this man seems to have gone to places. Everyone's talking about Superman right now at the box office. Well, maybe this guy is the unholy version of Superman. He's going to tell us about that here and some. And ladies and gentlemen, I know he wants me to get the introduction over with, but I still got something for him. I got a gift for him later on in the show. No, Gabe Sayers is not coming on here to steal his spotlight. No one else is coming on here. This is his moment. We're certainly prepared for it. But in the famous words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rocking, because I see our chat is here waiting for him. He wants to talk about the announcement, and I think his announcement's going to be a little bit bigger than what Gabe Sayers tried to do Monday night to close things out here on Sportswire Radio. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one Gamble Sports Show. A man that is actually number one when it comes to most championships won by any Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. You have seen him in so many companies recently that I almost can't list them all, but I'll do it anyway here later on. His name is, simply put, the reigning, defending NEW Northeast champion from the group, the DHC. He's the unholy traveler, the champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
Tom, I know I think I say this every single time, but I think I think I'm feeling really good, Tom. I think I'm actually the best I've ever been in a long time here. And it's been a very, very interesting past couple of weeks, Tom. So I'm
Yeah,
doing
I know you were
very, very good.
here 2 weeks ago, but I feel like the world has changed in 2 weeks. Some guys come on here, they come on every few days, and all right, we got an update. I saw you on here. Yeah, spoiler alert: Anthony Steele and James Taylor are back this weekend. We're
What?
not talking about them yeah, they're back. They're here Saturday and Sunday. But it's almost like you though in the last 2 weeks. I mean, the world has changed completely. We're going to talk about Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about the big announcement you had here this morning. We're going to certainly talk about the TF crew. I got to definitely promote that. We're buying a ticket to the show. We want to get everybody fired up. I mean, really, your last 2 weeks, I mean, I can't remember somebody that has made such drastic announcements and done these kind of things in a short time span. I mean, just before we get into the formal announcement, these last 2 weeks, I don't even recognize your last appearance and what you've done.
I agree, Tom. It's, it feels like with everything that's happened recently, that it feels like the last time I was here has been a couple months ago. And in fact, it's only
Yeah,
been
I
like
mean,
two or
really,
three
because
weeks.
tonight, I'll promote NEW. Yes, and Reyes Silver's here the day before. Yeah, obviously, we're going to talk about, Caster's here Friday. Yes, we'll get into that. But I really feel like tonight is more about what you've done in these last 2 weeks and what you're going to do. I mean, that's, certainly what it's about. And I want to get into it because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, Jake Dvorak, you are now the unholy traveler, and you have certainly helped build Sportswire Radio alongside the many companies that you represent. And talk about the announcement that I definitely think people are going to be ready for some combat for.
Yeah, I don't think I will ever have a bigger announcement than I had today. For those who don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook for that matter, I announced that I will be at the CZW Tournament of Death 22. I won't be in the Tournament of Death tournament itself, but I will be accepting the invitation for the Tarp of Death Invitational. And that is pretty much think about the Hunger Games, but just a very deathmatch wrestling feeling.
Yeah, I mean, but when you think about CZW and you think about the history, you think about the amount of names that have come in and out of the company. I mean, just to be a part of whatever, even if you say, yeah, it's this, it's that, but I mean, I've had a lot of guys come on the platform and talk about the CZW. Eric Black talked about he was trained out of there. He famously talked about that. His wife, Raina Black. Certainly guys like Jimmy Controversy come to mind. We can go up and down the list of people, and for you to be a part of this, yeah, I mean, it's really going to be. I think when we look back on your career, like these last 2 weeks, I mean, you may top it, you may not, but I mean, these are two of the greatest things that anybody could do, and to be a part of a place like CZW, I mean, an unbelievable moment for not just your career, but anyone's career.
Yeah. I mean, earlier today I was looking on Facebook and I think I found the perfect way to describe CZW's Tournament of Death. It is the Super Bowl of deathmatch wrestling. I mean, when you
Yeah.
think about it, it is. I mean, they were the OGs of doing this deathmatch stuff. If CZW wasn't a thing, half of the matches that I've done recently or just done within the last couple of years probably would have never happened the way that they did. And for me to be able to step in the same company as all these late legends, I mean, still going legends. I mean, you look at Nick Gage, I mean, look at all the people still out there today. And it's just amazing. It's really hard to describe how I feel with this announcement. I mean, I grew up, in fact, this will come up as a topic later on, but when me and Power Surge were roommates, one thing that me and him always did was watch CCW's death matches. And for like right now, I will be able to say that in just a few weeks, I have wrestled a part of that same company that I grew up watching. And that's literally insane. And to me, there is nothing bigger than CZW deathmatch wise, besides, GCW and a few other places. Like CZW is the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So it's
I mean, listen, the
crazy.
guys that have come out of there and, whether they've trained or wrestled there, I mean, it's, an immaculate list. So, how do you separate, okay, I was a fan, I watched, but now I'm here. So, how do you now make the transition? Because we're 2 weeks away from that just over. So, now you're a competitor, you're here, you've arrived, but how do you now make that transition?
I mean, I'm going to go in there and I'm not going down without a fight. It's going to be hard for me to say, hey, I'm going to do this to prepare. I'm going to do this to make sure I walk in and walk out, still 100%. There's no guarantee whatsoever that I'm going to be the same way, that I walk in when I walk out. It's one of those things that I know a few people that's already been announced.
Yep.
I'm sure that there is plenty of other people a part of this, people more experienced, people more well traveled than me. And I'm just gonna go in there, put up one hell of a fight, show them exactly what I can do, and as long as I feel like I did my best, that's all that matters.
No, absolutely. I mean, those are things that are important. Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously you're going to only be able to prepare and do certain things. But if you would have asked yourself all those years ago when you were roommates with Serge, I'll talk about him later. I know it's not going to be as a light a subject. But if you would have said to yourself all those years ago, hey, I'm going to be in 2025 on September the 6th, 2025, I'm going to be wrestling in CZW in the turn, on their shows, Tournament of Death. What would you have said to yourself then?
I would have called myself insane. And what in the world are you thinking that you'll be able to do to make it to that company? I mean, it's been a long journey, wrestling journey wise, and I was just talking to two of actually a couple of my very good friends earlier, and I
Sure.
was saying for me to see myself on the CZW Instagram page is just
Yeah, they shared it too. By the way, they
yeah,
shared the
yeah.
announcement. They shared it.
It's literally just it's something I really can't describe. I didn't think for a million years that I would have been where I am right now with the opportunities that I've had within the last couple of months, within the last year. I just don't know. I don't know what I would have thought if somebody told me
No, you
that.
know what? But
Yeah,
it's interesting because they always say things come in threes. You had X brand. You had what we'll talk about in a little bit with 814. And now you had this. I mean, some people, all right, I have one announcement. I'm going to be somewhere in a show. And, that's great. Listen, I'm here to support and give everybody that moment. But you've had three big companies in the span of literally right off the bat after each other. I mean, that's to me what's impressive about this, what you've done. I mean, you've literally followed up each time after time that you've been out there. I think that's to me what's most impressive about where you've gone.
I mean, I agree, Tom. I'm not trying to toot my own horn either, but like you said, like I just keep on leveling up and going to a bigger and bigger places. And I mean, for the past year, I think I said the best is yet to come, and I truly
Right.
think that it was all leading to this moment, all leading to CZW. I mean, everything happens for a reason, I believe, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that
I always say that to people. I'm always a believer in that. People say, you're always too kind or whatever. I say, nah, nah, trust me. But I mean, to this is, a big deal and such. And I mean, I'm sure you heard though about Gabe Sayers announcing that he was going to show up there also. Now, does that put a little bit of maybe a damper on this, or maybe it makes you more motivated? Maybe you'll see him in the venue, and maybe you'll tell him not to show up. I mean, what do you think on that? Because you're going to see him the next day. The good news is you're not going to be wrestling him this time. We'll definitely talk about that later because I see some guys that are you're going to be wrestling like Stephen Havoc. We're going to definitely talk about that later on. But I mean, the irony, I guess, is that Gabe Sayers is going to be in the same venue.
I mean, I actually, I'm not even surprised. Like, I'm generally not surprised. Like, me and him, literally, people kept on saying, we are just destined to fight forever. I think him and Power Surge, whether it's where somewhere I go or wherever somewhere they go, we're just destined to be fighting against each other or even fighting side by side each other. So I'm honestly not surprised. And with how Gabe Sayers have grown within the last couple of years, and I mean he started off as a deathmatch wrestler, and then he's here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's going the same places that I've gone. I'm going to the same places he's going, and it does not surprise me. It doesn't
But
surprise me
you've been
that.
around them. But see, but I've said this in character, and we're gonna get into character work in a few minutes. But you've been around this a long time. I mean, you basically, if anybody that's grinded to get to where they are to have this moment, you are like that definition of it. Gabe, really got into this because of a Twitch battle with Mikey Anarchy. It's kind of famously, the story. But you have been in this a long time. You and Be Insane, you guys started it at the very beginning. Serge joined you a little later, but we're talking 15 plus years that you've done this. You've traveled to a lot of different places. And I think in some ways, this is a different moment to what it means to you than Gabe, because you've been in a long time. You're right. I had Gabe on here right around this time for the first time 2 years ago. And yeah, Gabe definitely has moved up the ladder, no question. He's had some big opportunities. He's had a little bit of a different path. But I think for you, getting here after being in this for as long as you have, I think that's why this moment means that much more.
I agree, Tom. I mean, I'm sure it means something to Gabe. I'm not trying to knock him down, but I can tell you that this is the biggest opportunity. This literally means the world to me. I thought, going to X-Brand was crazy and it was insane, but for me to just follow that up by going to 814 and then making my way to CZW, it means a lot. Every single chance that I get to step in that ring, no matter where it is, it all means a lot. And just for me to be at this company that I've spent years, literally grew up watching, I can't describe it. It would be probably, I'd feel the same way if I ended up going to WWE. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for me, is this feeling. I feel like this is it. You know what I mean? This is my biggest moment. And
No, and
I
I
don't
think
know
it.
if there
I
will be
think
another. I don't know if there's going to be another moment as big as this. I don't know what's going to happen. Nothing is promised after this booking, but I will say if this is the one and only time I get to wrestle at CZW, then it is what it is. I'll be happy. You know what I mean? When you look at CZW, my name will be officially tied with that, and I think that's insane.
No, I think it's a well-deserved honor, and something tells me that I still think you can certainly do more things. And I did want to say hello to Dalton Skull, who said he watched some of your old stuff in the backyard, even from years ago. He said he watched you way back, I guess, going back maybe to the early days of NEW, the very, very early days, and predating that stuff. But what's great, and I want to talk about Surge. I do want to get into that because that's originally why you were supposed to be here. This kind of timed the way it did about you in the CZW announcement. But I see Mickey Vargas here, and I see what Mickey's done in a short amount of time. I see certain other guys, obviously, talk about, Savage, in the same way. But what I really like the last few months is I see guys like you, I see guys like Mickey Vargas as an example that have really put time in, really gone out there, what you've done to your bodies, Shocky to an extent. I see Stefan Havoc in the chat, guys like you that really did grind. And, in some cases, maybe you should have had this moment earlier in your career. Maybe it should have happened a few years back. I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not a promoter, but to me, the way I see it is that it's great to see over the last few months, guys like you, guys like Mickey Vargas, guys like Shocky, guys like Stefan Havoc, guys like Savage certainly get that moment because of all the things that you've put into it to get here. I think that's, to me, what I see is people like you use the word leveling up. And to me, that's what I see. Guys like you and a few others that I just mentioned, putting that work in, putting yourselves out there, and not just wanting to stay in one place, not just wanting to be comfortable. Yeah, I got the subs, I got the views, I could stay and do this the way I want to do it. It's going to keep growing. Yeah, it probably would, but no, you challenged yourself. You put your name out there. You certainly were a good salesman. You obviously put the work in to do it, and look at where it's gotten you. I think that's, to me, what's most impressive, and that's what I like. Like I said, guys like you, Mickey, and a few others have done those things, and that's, to me, what it should be about. This shouldn't be a place to be an end. There should be a mean. There should be a justification to where you want to go, and you guys are showing that to others.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, first off, big shout out to Mickey Vargas. I mean, he's doing so much crazy stuff down there. And I won't make you use the censor button, but he's doing a lot of insane stuff down there, and he's making a name for himself. Savage, like you said, Surge, everybody. And recently I talked with Savage, and one thing that stuck with me about a recent conversation I had with D Savage was that, he wants everybody that he knows to succeed, but he said that I'm one of the only ones that's going out there and taking every opportunity that I can get. And I mean, if you just put in the work, even if you're going, a state away, a couple towns away, it doesn't matter if you're losing, doesn't matter if you're winning. Some people just get too caught up on that. Go out there and sell yourself. Go show them why that they chose you. Go out there and make people realize what you're capable of. And that's what I've been trying to do with all these bookings. I mean, with TF Crew, shortly after that was ECH. ECH is still trying to get their show together. After that, there was UWF.
Yes.
There were other federations, there was X Brand and, 814. I mean, like, just bet on yourself. You just have to bet on yourself. Go out there and just do everything that you can. And if there's any, like, for me, it's hard for me to go back and think that like I liked a bunch of my matches. It's hard for me to like do that because like I'm a very big critic, because I'll go back and look at something and be like, yeah, this could have been different, this could have been better. And I don't know, it just always work on yourself. One of the things I've learned back when I traveled to Indiana back in 2018 from a good friend over there, they said, once you think that you know it all in wrestling is when you should hang up the boots, because no one knows it all in wrestling. Everyone's going to keep learning. So I think that everyone should bet on themselves. Mickey Vargas is a great example.
I mean, Mickey, just amazing. He went from our end to Texas. Just say, I'm going there,
But I think that was the biggest bet on yourself moment that I've seen in a while, because he went across the country, and it's not like he's there for a weekend or there for a week.
Wow.
He's living there. And I mean, look, it paid off. He's out there wrestling on the same shows as Masada,
Yeah, I know.
Guys that he would have never got the chance to.
And I say it all the time. We have a guy, Joey Knight Jr., that comes on here, and I always tell the story, which I think is so cool, is that he saw Mickey on Sportswire, and he was like, I'm in that same place too. And then they now connect with each other, and they were on the same show, and they're going to see each other again. And, Mickey's company's coming on here next Thursday, and it's like, that was a really cool thing. Everybody talks about, this guy said this about that. No, but how about that as an example? Joey Knight Jr. wrestles in, he's from Arkansas, wrestles in Texas, Hayborn Championship Wrestling, saw Mickey, vice versa, and said, hey, you know what? They made it to the best. Or, Savage, Godric Sandwell, Savage and Godric Sandwell, they know each other now. Hey, I saw you on Sportswire. So, I think a lot more of that should be talked about instead of, he said this on there and, blah, 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 blah. No, but that's what it is. And I think it's great what you said. And like you said, you definitely bet on yourself. You definitely are going to win, you're going to win just as big as Mickey. And I think it's great. And I think that that's what it should be, because everybody should try to go out there and explore and see, if this is for me, this is the right thing. And you've done that. You've done that time and time again. We'll definitely come back to that later, but I really want to talk about the reason you were originally here, which is Pennsylvania. You talked about it. You said here a couple weeks ago, you were going on a visit to Pennsylvania, or you were traveling and a weekend stay. And, my first thought, all right, you're Massachusetts, local. Okay, you got family there, maybe you got something you got to visit somebody there for, and maybe they owe you something. All right, that makes sense, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. But apparently, which has been the talk of all social media, 814 Wrestling's Facebook page, Instagram, your channels, is that you went down there and you visited somebody that was an old friend, and while You paid him a visit, and it was more than a visit. And let's talk about it, because without giving it away too much, what happened at 814 Wrestling?
All right. So right as soon as they were going to intermission, I made myself got out of the crowd. Actually, I got out of the crowd. I walked right into the wrestling ring, grabbed the microphone, and I surprised Power Surge. I told the fans, I told everybody that I'm here to celebrate with Power Surge. I'm here to surprise Power Surge. I drove almost 10 hours in total, one way, to go to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I called out Power Surge. I hugged him, raised his hand, told him everything that he's done to make it this far. And as soon as we hugged for the last time, I hit him right where the sun doesn't shine. And then I let everybody know the exact real reason why I was there. I'm not here to celebrate. I'm there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get my revenge on Power Surge. This whole thing, no matter where we go, Power Surge, this is going to be forever. And Power Surge, you can run here, run there, run anywhere you want, because I will find you. And look at that. 814 Wrestling. Jake Dvorak made his debut. And, I might have not earned my championship match that night, but in the main event, I challenged Power Surge one-on-one for his championship, the Pennsylvania Grand Slam Championship of 814, which is their world championship. And, the video might not be out, but the results have been posted. They're posted on Facebook. They're everywhere at this point. I was not able to walk out victorious. That's fine. There's always next time. So I saw Power Surge was getting interviewed. It just so happens I walked backstage and I saw Power Surge and I did what I did. You're seeing that exactly right now. And then AC Norway comes over to me and tells me that it's enough. No. It's enough when I say it's enough. I'm done when I say I'm done. So Power Surge, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, but this, to me, what you did, and out of thin air. I mean, this is a guy that is the main event. This is the guy, you didn't just go somewhere and I'm in a battle royal. Maybe I want an opening match. Maybe I'm in some mixed person tag match, and that's all fine and well. But you went after a man that is their world champion for all intents and purposes, the Pennsylvania Grand Slam champion. And Jake, this is a company, 814 Wrestling, that gets talked about a lot on my platform. Some people that are tuning into this may or may not know this, but I've had many wrestlers on Sportswire talk about 814 Wrestling and wanting to be there. The likes of Godric Sandwell, the gentleman of exquisite caliber, who some people consider to be pound for pound one of the best wrestlers in the independent scene from Pennsylvania. The likes of Andrew Lovelace, the be-all, end-all. Dave Jameson's a guy that just wrestled this guy who used to be named Fuego del Sol. I mean, there's a long list of names. The Soul Taker. There's Daniel Tafua. All these names that have either been in my chat or have been on Sportswire. Timothy Titan. Timothy Titan is a man that very well-known promoter. Tommy Hara. I mean, there's guys that have talked about 814 Wrestling on Sportswire. Miss Courtney Wood, who's kind of the female version in the state of Pennsylvania of Dave Meltzer. And that's how big of a deal it is, at least on my platform, from those people in that region in Pennsylvania to be a part of 814 Wrestling. And Jake, you didn't just show up there and, maybe, like you said, maybe be a part of something small or show up. No, you wrestled Surge, and then afterwards, it ain't over. I think, to me, that's one of the most, to me, amazing things. You basically came out of thin air, and so many want to be there, and you did it, and you beat them to the punch, and you did it without even being on their roster.
Exactly, Tom. And when the video does come out, you'll see the shock on the ring announcer's face as I make my way into the ring. They didn't know that I was going into the ring. They didn't know I went into the ring on my own terms. Just like how I got the match to go one-on-one against Power Surge. just like how I beat the holy hell out of Power Surge after the event was over. And Tom, it doesn't matter where it is, it doesn't matter what state. Me and Power Surge, this is going to be something that will continue until I say we're done. And that's whenever I choose. That is whenever I choose. And it's great. It's great. Because think about it. X Brand. I was the opening match, and then I was in the main event. My debut. I go to 814. I'm in not only the main event in my debut match, I'm wrestling for their world championship. And one thing I made clear in an interview, I'm not sure when they're going to post, but go ahead and quote me on this. I said that just because I didn't earn a number one contenders match doesn't mean that I didn't earn that championship match. They don't know what I went through. They don't know how hard I busted in my ass to get to that moment. And I think I'm more deserving than anybody on their roster for that championship. And if you heard me, I said to Serge, I'm like, you want to leave me in the dust now? Let's talk about that for a quick moment. You see that man, AC Norway, he called up Power Surge. He called up me. And when the day came, I was left in the dust. There was no Power Surge to be found. He went there on his own terms. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm on my own terms. Everyone looks at Power Surge like he's a good guy. He is not a good guy. And I'm going to take everything that he loves, everything that he cares about away one by one. And if I have to start with that championship, then I have to start with that championship.
But you know what's fascinating here? I want to stay on this for a few minutes. And if you're here and you're on Instagram, go follow Jake. I don't know why you haven't yet, but go give him a follow. But I want to talk about this because I remember several months ago at the beginning of the year, we were talking about you and Serge. And these same things you said then in Massachusetts, and they seem to ring true now. So really, at the end of the day, you're going to just do this until really Serge leaves, period, the wrestling scene, because everything you said, you talked about being left in the dust, Serge leaving you in the dust. You said the same thing months ago. If I recall correctly on Sportswire, you talked about the fact that Serge forgot where he came from. Serge forgot all the things that you and him did together at the very beginning. You brought that up here. Look at what you did then months ago. Now you've reminded him of that again, and this might even be on a bigger stage, what you're about to do. And something tells me, with your track record against Serge in other places, now that you found your way with your legs under you now in a different place, in a different environment, I think you got a very good chance to be successful here whenever this may take a place once again.
I do agree with that, Tom, and I appreciate you thinking the same thing. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time until I feel like driving 10 hours down to Johnstown, Pennsylvania again. And I'll let Power Surge be paranoid for a little bit. I'll make him think that he's safe just where I can show up and remind him that he's not safe. He's never going to be safe.
No, I mean, there certainly could be a strong case for that. And there's no question that 814 Wrestling is on Facebook. They have a huge reach on Facebook. And let me tell you something. A lot of wrestlers on my platform have talked about 814 Wrestling over the past year. And it's fascinating that you weren't even a part of the roster. You weren't even a resident of the state. And these wrestlers have all talked about showing up to 814, and maybe I could get a spot, maybe not you. You just showed up in the crowd, and you got a match in the main event, and you're not done. I think that's, to me, what's most amazing about this.
I agree, Tom. I mean, once you go back and look at the footage, I'm chilling in the crowd. You know what? It's kind of funny. It's not the first company that I came from the crowd and attacked somebody. But, I guess that's.
Well, that company we're going to talk about in a little while. Yeah, I got to.
If you see me in the crowd somewhere, just so you know, I'm not there to watch.
But you know what else I think is interesting, and I think Reyes Silva said this, and Ray is going to be here in 2 weeks, and I'm excited about that right before the All Out War here at NEW. But going back, right, you and him, your long history, whether it's been on the same side, certainly now opposite sides. Let's go and rewind the tape. We're talking about now the better part of a decade, the backyard, the Underground, and now to a major independent wrestling company. Now, I don't know this, and somebody I'm sure will fact check me, and somebody will tell me that somebody did this before. But as far as I can recall, at least so far, again, I've had on almost 1,000 wrestlers on this platform. So somebody has to, I'm sure, go out and fact check me. But I think this might be the only one I can recall, at least in my memory, on being here for 6.5 years, where two guys have had history from the backyard to the Underground and now to not just an independent wrestling company, but a major independent wrestling company. That's to me what's most fascinating. I'm pretty sure this is the only feud that has gone and followed this timeline.
Yeah, I can't think of any other person. I'm sure there will be the smarts.
I know
there.
somebody will message me and say, they did. I'm telling you, they did. So that's why I wanted to put it out there, because somebody will eventually watch this and say, nope, they wrestled in the backyard, they wrestled in the Underground,
Well,
and they
let's put it
wrestled
this
there.
way. There's nobody out there right now that will remember or even like think about that till right now. That the only reason why they even think about it is because me and Power Surge did it recently. If we can't think about somebody that done that anytime recently, then you know what? Maybe we're starting a new trend. Maybe it's well deserved. Maybe they didn't make a big enough impact. We went out there, not only made events, the world championship, their world
Yeah.
championship was on the line. It's not like somebody that we knew runs the company. It's a stranger, somebody, a well-known booker reached out and they made this match for Power Surge. I came in, challenged for that title. I can't recall, and I've been numerous places, not the most places that people have been to, but I've been multiple areas. Till this day, I just cannot think of anybody else that done it.
Yeah, and I think your run the last few months, the matches with Doc Holliday we spoke about a couple weeks ago, the war with Gabe Sayers earlier in the year, Nico Gray, even your work it would be insane, and then now Surge again talking about that, and then CZW. It's to me, it's almost like every time you're going out there and using the football reference, every game's the Super Bowl. Every game you're playing, every game in the Super Bowl, or at least the championship game. We talked about that with Jay the Awesome last night. Yardcade 3, and every time he's been in Yardcade, he's been in a championship match or was the champion. And you look at your last, like the whole year, the wars with Gabe. Copper Dragon certainly had thoughts on you. Will throw in the match you had with Zero. Doc Holliday, you work with him. Certainly Nico Gray, Be Insane. What's going to come up on September 7th? What's going to come up September 6th? And then on top of that, being in a major independent wrestling company and wrestling in the main event. I mean, every match, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, I get on people from all over the place. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. I've had on British independent wrestlers. I've had on high caliber guys who were pros that they make a living off this. I mean, so I've had, Vito Fratelli, the PWI 500. Rad Dad's been on here. He's been here a bunch of times. A lot of guys that aren't just underground and backyarders. Obviously, people saw Rhino, Savio Vega, Pitbull, Gary Wolf. But I've had on all those people, and I can't think of somebody, and unless somebody wants to please fact check me, every match you've been in seems it's big match after big match.
I agree. I mean, it's hard there's going to be somebody out there that like, oh, but I did this, but I did that. You know what? At that point, it's whatever. But if you, like you said, think about what I've done back to back, it's all been big matches. I've won against Sane. I've won against Havoc. I went against Surge. I went against Kuma. I've went against, you name it. I've done it all. I have feuds. I've had matches with some of the biggest names out there, some of the biggest names in their underground community, in the professional wrestling community. Nico Gray, a guy from CZW, a person I got in the ring with back at X-Brand in the main event with him. There was 4 other people, but I've been in the ring with some of the very best on the planet, and it's hard for anybody to deny that I've been facing some of the very best people. I'm not saying that I'm the best out there, but I
No,
faced
I don't think
out there.
anyone's saying who's the best, or who, obviously people can figure that out themselves. And if you like to follow X Brand, go hit the sub button for X Brand Wrestling. We'll get to everybody here in the chat. We're here with the unholy traveler, Jake Dvorak, and we're here with everybody. Thank you for tuning in. But no, I really think it's the body of work. And like I said, I've had guys, Vito Fratelli twice in the PWI 500, the Alpha Zoe, another guy that wrestled Alex Shelley right before he went to WWE. I had him on my platform. RP Davis, the natural born fighter, who's been, on WWE TV a few times. Pepper Pride, is somebody I've talked a lot about. I had James Fury on here. Man, you know very well. I've had James Fury on here. I've had on Sam El Jami. So I've had, like pro wrestlers who that's their job, that's their living. And, your run, it transcends this year. It transcends the underground. It transcends professional wrestling. It transcends death match, whatever you want to call wrestling. I'm Mr. O Wrestling. I know some people are going to say, yeah, but we'll get into that. I'm sure somebody will have a comment, but that's cool. It's great. But what I'm looking at it from, objectively speaking, the body of work, it's just hit after hit. With music, I get all these bands come on, and they always talk about you got to have hit after hit to keep the record going. And that's what you're doing. You're almost going out there. You're on a multi-platinum album because you've just had all of these moments, and they're all consecutive.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, I started off the year in a tag team death match in front of a sold-out crowd with my partner Jeff Nova going up against Mikey Anarchy, one of the most well-known deathmatch underground and pro wrestlers out there, and against his tag team partner Gabe Sayers, a person that I've had countless matches with so far. And I continued that by going on to do everything that we just went through, and it all just led me to this moment. And I've said this to many people that I've known, all my friends, that this is probably going to be the best year wrestling wise of my life, and I don't know if I'll have another year like this. It's just been.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I think next year is actually going to be even bigger for you. No, I actually disagree, because I think next year you're only just getting started. No. I disagree with that. And I'm telling you that for sure. But also hit the sub button for NEW. All right, let's get to the chat. People want to talk to you. I want to give them that opportunity. We got a bunch of people here. We'll talk about some different things. On the other side of the chat, I'll give you something. I want to talk about the TF crew, which is why I'm also here. I want to make a few other announcements. So let's get to everybody. If you are here, please hit the sub button for NEW. And we will certainly get to some more people. All right, so let's take this off the screen. We'll go like this. We'll keep the NEW link for now. Zilla was here a few hours early because I made the link early because, Jake, I thought I was going to go out to dinner in Manhattan, but the weather was terrible here in New York City. So lucky I was prepared like 3 hours early. Usually when you come on, I'm like, I'm here at like 4 minutes before the show. Tonight, I was like, I wasn't going anywhere. I had dinner plans, and it was like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here and just make the link and just set my setup here up. And that's what we did. So thank you, Zilla, for being here early. Now I see Ox McCoy's comment here up. I didn't see it earlier. Now I see it. So thank you, Ox. And I hope Ox has some good results here at the doctor tomorrow. I hope he gets better. And also happy birthday to Soldier GP. I hope he has a great day, or has had a great day so far. And we want to thank Soldier for all his support and everything he's done over in the IMF. And I really hope he has a great day, and I really hope he has a happy birthday. And thank you for your friendship the last 3 years, and the best is yet to come. So thank you, Soldier. And Zilla would like to say hello. Thank you, Zilla. Zilla's doing good. I'm glad to hear. And, Brenda's here. Well, not first, but first from, everybody aside from me, Zilla and Ox. And that's we actually, that's a great segue, because I don't know if you noticed, but there's a company, Dog Wrestling, in New Jersey, and maybe you would love to show up there one of these days. Rad Dad's stepson, the Flag Boy, Connor Schaefer, wrestles there. You might have to take away the unholy name if you showed up there, because they usually wrestle in a church. But if you ever wanted to wrestle in dog wrestling, I actually know the owner, and he's a fan of the platform. So if that's another company you want to go to, but you might have to be like family friendly, Jake Dvorak, which I don't know if you'd be able to pull off though. So maybe you want to think about that one.
814 is the same way, so I had to tone it down. So
yeah, I figured that. Yeah. Well, dog, I don't know if
Hey,
Jersey's closer to Pennsylvania for you, but if it's closer, I can certainly, we can get you in dog if you want to go to another company. You want to add that in the bucket list. I'll send you their info
maybe.
off here. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you for making me think of dog, and shout out to the owner, Lawrence, good friend of the show. Jake doesn't drink, so to honor that, I am cracking some ice cold Coke Zeros tonight. I don't even, Jake, I don't drink either, but I don't drink Coke Zero. I had Mountain Dew though, but you drink the Coke Zero for me. I can go live with that. Thank you. We love Jake, and yes, and by the way, Joe Starr. By the way, Joe Starr. Obviously, I've seen Joe Starr doing some different things. I'm going to say when it comes out for the footage, I might have to bring Joe back on. I don't recognize Joe since the last I seen him. Now I don't recognize him. Although I did see.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
it's great. Just going off, sidetracked a little bit, but staying kind of on track too. Um, Seeing everybody that I've known, within the same company that I wrestle with, going out and doing these insane things, going out, branching out, going out to one of the biggest YouTube wrestling companies out there. It's great. Joe, he's been putting in the work. He's inside and outside the ring, inside the gym as well. I'm sure you can see that. And Joe has just been going to the next level himself. And I'm very excited to see what Joe does next.
Me too. And since he's here, and I think I can put this up because I made a comment on my other Instagram page about it. Apparently, John Cena thought so much of Joe Starr that he wanted to get a picture with him.
I know. I mean, we have the greatest of all time next to John Cena. It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, yeah, I listen, I interviewed Joe Starr, not John Cena, and that's who I want to always have on Sportswire. And yeah, and there you go. And obviously it was John Cena said it was an honor to meet Joe Starr, and it was an honor for me to have Joe Starr on Sportswire many times. But shout out to Joe, and I have a feeling I'll be talking to Joe soon when some other footage comes out there. Thank you, Joe. But Omen Black is in the house, and I'm sure when we see Omen's footage on his platform, that'll be a big topic on Saturday with that guy who's always been here. But it's your moment tonight, Jake, and we'll give Anthony Steele plenty of time on Saturday. Though apparently he's a changed man, though. He's changed. He's changed, Anthony Steele. I know.
Let's put it this way. I cannot wait until the next couple weeks where he comes on and does a shoot interview. So.
Well, no, I spoke to him Monday. He's different now. I'm not quite saying he's like Justin Parsley and seen the light and become born again, but he's different. I'm telling you, we spoke on Monday and he's really different. He's a different.
I don't believe it, Tom. I don't believe it.
Well, I know people have told me for years. I've heard this for 3 years when it comes to Anthony. I don't like him. You bring him on too much. Why do you like him for? And I say, well, I know him. He talks to me, and I see something different in him. But we'll find out then. I am very excited, though, about Rhea Silva coming on here. You've had some recent in-ring matches with Rhea. Rhea will be here right before the All Out War. I am looking forward to that Friday night, September the 5th, right around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you, Rhea. Thank you. We'll get to you, I'm sure, for more. And yes, we are very excited to see Jake. You have a lot of people here in the chat. We appreciate that very much. And yes, hit the like button for Jake. We would appreciate that. And thank you. And yes, thank you for Omen. Thank you for doing my intro, which people actually have done. Number one, I have heard that many times. I know the New York, Anthony likes to do it, by the way, the New York, Brooklyn accent. Yes. My mother's even tried to do it. She wants me to stop doing it. She just wants me to stop, but that's okay. She's not watching tonight, but she's a beneficiary of my bank account now. So she wants me to continue until I croak. Then she'll be very happy. But it's okay. We're joking. We're having fun tonight. Everyone's having a good time. And we're doing well. There you go. See, everyone's having a good time. See, people, I let people make the jokes. I don't mind. I love when people joke. I was in a chat with somebody today, and he said, let everybody make fun of you. And I said, all right, I'll do it. Okay. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just nod and smile. And axes. And no, Ox didn't marry an axe murderer, but he would like to maybe do that for me because he doesn't like it. I'm only kidding. I'm going to get to Stephen Havoc because on the other side of the chat, we have a match I want to promote, which I spoke a bit with Gabe on. So I do want to get to that. Thank you for that. And by the way, Caster is also here. Speaking of more NEW connections, TF Crew NEW, Caster is here Friday for the first time. Very excited about that. Very excited about Caster. Caster, I think he's going to be very charismatic on here. And thank you. Yes, we love Jake. We love Rhea. And Mickey is here. Mickey is here. And I am very excited about Mickey. I've been speaking to Mickey from time to time. Glad to see that my state is represented. Havoc, Vargas, J to the A was here yesterday. Jay the Awesome was here last night on Sportswire. Really great guy. Back on next month. Dalton Skull wanted to say he's watched your old footage, as I stated previously. Yes, I appreciate Dark Card and Matthew for saying it. I don't know if I see them in the chat, but yes, we'll talk a lot about them tomorrow. But yes, shout out to them. Thank you, Dalton. Yes, we respect everybody. I want to say hello to the prophet Jordan Crowley, who's in the house, who's certainly, I'm sure, tuned in on Saturday's show because he'll probably be booing Anthony Steele the whole time. But see, yeah, there's a good point here, and I'm glad that Reyes said it as well. Seeing Jake and Serge face on the backyard to the underground to the Indies is a moment that will forever be amazing to me. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's truly a moment if you look back where you've transpired in all these different events to leading to that. I think that's to me what's most impressive. I agree completely. I agree. From the riot to the tournament of death, true manifestation. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. And yeah, and I will actually laugh at this one because Courtney Wood, when she comes on, she hates it on and off the air when I do it. Yeah, she hates when I call her the female Dave Meltzer. She like really hates it. And I just tell her that and I won't bring Steel Panther on Sportswire because she loves Steel Panther, but I'm kidding. Obviously, this is somebody you know. Obviously, saying hello. Say hello. Maybe somebody you might have seen before. Yeah, just, there you go. Follow Jake on Instagram. Hello. Jake is definitely a legend. You're going to get something in a few minutes. I know. Hello. I want to say hello to Soldier's niece, and she's apparently she's a big Anthony Steele fan. No, she's a big Justin Parsley fan. But yeah, there she is. Yeah, there she is. Hello. Jake walks in and main events, truly iconic. Yeah, I think that's what to me, was most impressive about. Like I said, you didn't just go in a Rumble. You didn't just show up and wrestle in some mixed person match or wrestle and have a few minutes. No, you went right up in there, right for the jugular as a fan or in the crowd, and then wrestle a guy you've got a decade worth of history with and traveled to all these places, lived with, and then wrestled him for their world championship and still not done.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, X-Brand, I did the same thing. I wrestled actually 2 matches, the opener and the main event. 814, I did the main event. And I mean, I cannot say this enough that it's just been one wild year.
Well, you know what? I think that we still got time left in the year, so I would say stay tuned. Hello to Tyson Spade. Yes, did I see Tyson in the chat? I think I did. Yes, yeah. There we go. Hello to Tyson. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Speaking of people that you've also had some memorable matches with, oh, by the way, a GBYWN legend, the one and only Doc Holliday, who was a topic on last time you were here, and a topic yesterday. Well, Monday now with Gabe. Technically, it was yesterday because he was here around midnight. But he's wrestling LJ Wash in a match that I'll certainly talk about on the other side of the chat. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. And we have, Jake, we have so many comments. I can actually say the other side of the chat. The last few shows on Sportswire, we can say that again, which is great. Jake will definitely take over. He's definitely showing that, and we agree with that. Hit the sub button for X Brand Wrestling. I'd like to see more content. Eventually, you'll see some of Jake and others' matches on there. Hello there. Justin Parsley is not here in the chat. Okay, well, that's why we haven't said hello to him. That would be a great reason why. Obviously, the Prophet was not impressed with the amount of names that have come on Sportswire. Maybe he wants to come on Sportswire. Probably that's what it is. That's okay. Maybe somebody should take over. Right? I suggested that to Jay the Awesome yesterday. He actually was interested in taking over. So maybe, the Prophet can talk to Jay the Awesome going forward. Hit the sub button for anything. Actually, Jay and I had a good chat because he's hosted some podcasts and he's a vlogger. And we were talking about the things that most people wouldn't understand the lingo. So who knows? I agree. Obviously, somebody knows you very well. Justin Parsley's not here in the chat. I'm not sure why people are saying hello to Justin Parsley, but he's not here unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I would buy stocks in you. They would certainly be up more than my mutual fund has been recently. Those tariffs, I'm not going to get into that. Yes, happy birthday, Soldier. Definitely happy birthday to Soldier. Yeah, that's it. Yes, dog wrestling in New Jersey. It's in South Jersey. It's they wrestle in South Jersey, and it's my Glock cluster over there, but more closer to Philly. Hello there. Okay. Yayish Steele still not happy with what he called me a couple months. See, there are people that still don't trust Anthony Steele. See what I mean? See what I'm saying? And Justin Parsley's my friend. Yes, we know he's the whole monitor. Hello to our friends in CBW. Thank you, CBW, for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. Steele is on Saturday night, 8:30 Eastern time. So, but Jake is here now. So he's coming on. People like, Anthony Steele. Well, Jake Dvorak's here first. Hello. Jake, get those autographs ready. I got the eBay account ready. Don't forget that, brother. You know what? People make, you can make some money off those autographs. I'll tell you what, the tribal cheese in the UK makes a lot of money off this. There you go. See, I'll tell you what, those programs, get them ready. Get them ready. Well, I don't know about Bren versus Gabe in a match. Well, we'll let Gabe. We've had enough about Gabe. What's your opinion on Joe Shima? I mean, I think you obviously want to talk about more CZW. I'm sure. I don't want to turn this around because I got something for it. I got to promote TF Crew. I got to promote TF Crew in a minute. But okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. But Jake, I do have something for you before I get to the TF Crew, which I do have to promote. I got to get to business here. But Jake, you've had an amazing last 2 weeks, and you certainly should be recognized for it. And I am inducting you in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame once again for now being the unholy traveler. And why do I say that? Because look at where you've went just in your last Sportswire Radio appearance. I mean, at this point, you are catching up into Anthony Steele territory now. So maybe you'll surpass him because now you got into the Hall of Fame once again. And I think this is actually a well-deserved induction or reinduction because what you have done and what you're about to do, I mean, very few people are going to get that opportunity. And I would say congratulations.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. And I think we might be on 4 or 5. And
I think you're on 5 now, I think.
I still need to print all these out and, find a place to put everything wrestling related. I'm working on it, but I just been slacking.
Well, you know what? I'm sure you're a busy guy. You've been Copper Dragons rated your matches. You got CZW to look forward to, TF Crew. You got a lot of stuff here coming up, but I would say, you probably will be a 30-time Hall of Fame. Yeah, probably. I probably admit that you will be. My opinion on it is God bless America, if we can still say that. God bless America. That's what I'm going to say. I think the Hall of Fame got legitimized when we put Savio Vega in there. But, you like to be in the Hall of Fame. We can talk about that on the Saturday show. But thank you, Jordan, for the kind words. And thank you, everybody here. And I got to talk about it before we move on here. It's kind of my last official topic, but it's a very important topic to me and to you because this is how you're going to make some money here in the wrestling world because you have a show that coming up on September the 7th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time is when the doors open. It is a Day of Atonement, and I have the Eventbrite link I'm going to put up here in the chat, and I'm very excited about this because I know you have Stephen Havoc in there, and I know that also you have B Insane you're in the ring with, and another guy that creates plenty of controversy. Last name, I'll put that poster up for it, but I am very excited about this once again. TF Crew is up from business. It's up and running, and it's our second show of the year formally. And talk about what can we expect from you and yet another big match.
It's I mean, you can expect everything at that point. You have Stephen Havoc, you have Jimmy Controversy, you have The Insane, you have myself. This is the second ever open death invitational. I mean, like it's insane. I could be the one to win the second ever match of this stipulation. It's crazy. And then, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get that TF Crew Tomorrow's End championship match that I'm looking for.
But I know who's the champion.
But until we see and what happens, I am very, very much looking forward to getting to the ring again with Be Insane. Again with Stephen Havoc, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't the most excited step foot in the ring with Jimmy Controversy. Jimmy has been on dream opponent list of mine for a while now, and I finally will get the chance to say that I've been in the ring with Jimmy Controversy. I mean, at that point, I've wrestled Mikey Anarchy. I've wrestled Doc Holliday. I've wrestled in CZW. I've wrestled in X Brands. I mean, you name it, I've been there. But
Yeah.
now Jimmy Controversy will be on the list of people that I've faced. And no matter what happens, if I lose, if I win, this is something that will also go down on my resume. I mean, you think of CZW, you think of Jimmy Controversy as
Yes.
well. He's wrestled. I mean, Jimmy has traveled quite a few places, and he's
Oh,
been
XPW. He's been in.
he's
He's
been
wrestled
everywhere.
Tommy Dreamer. He's wrestled
Yes.
Gary Wolf. Don't tell Gary
Yeah.
Wolf about it, though. Actually, that's a serious thing because Gary and I spoke about this often. He's like, yeah, don't bring him up. But
Okay.
yeah, Tommy's a big name. He's a big name that Jimmy's wrestled him, and this guy and that guy. Yeah, Jimmy's, he's a veteran, a big time veteran.
Yeah, it's just insane, and I'm very much looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to see what B Insane can do in a deathmatch style environment. He has not been in a deathmatch style environment, and I look forward to seeing how he is in this type of match. But I know Stephen Havoc. Stephen Havoc eat, sleeps, and breathe this environment. Jimmy Controversy does too, and I do as well. I just I just can't wait. I can't wait for this match. It's something that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. And it's going to be a very busy and bloody weekend for me because the day before this, I'm at CZW. I'm traveling from Delaware to Connecticut for this match. I'm going to be beat up, to say the least. I might have to take a vacation from work, might have to do sick time, something like that. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be one hell of a weekend.
It's funny that you said that because I had actually something in my mind on that, but I want to go to the match first because Gabe and I spoke about Be Insane. I think in a lot of ways, while he may not have the experience of being in a death match, I think because of his size, his strength, he's the wild card here in this match. What's your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's taller than Jimmy. I never seen him side by side, but Sane is like 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he's a tall dude. And I mean, his resume isn't something to overlook either. He's
Yep.
been in the ring with some of the best out there in the underground community. And now I can't wait. I truly cannot wait to see what he's able to do in this type of environment. I mean, he's been in hardcore matches. We've faced each other in hardcore matches, but there's a difference between hardcore and deathmatch style. And I think Sane will be able to hold his own, whether it's just because of his sheer strength, or whether it's something that maybe he'll tune into the hardcore style more than we expect. I think Sane will be able to hold his own, and he's definitely on the competition side of this match. He's somebody I even have to look out for because this is an elimination match. This could
Yeah.
very well come down to me and Be Insane one-on-one in that ring. So I need to keep an eye out. I need to do whatever I can, Tom. I need to get these guys out as quickly as I can, get down to the final opponent, no matter if it's Havoc, no matter if it's Sane, no matter if it's Controversy. I'm going to have to go in and get out as quickly as possible because unlike some of these people, I'm not 100%. I will not be 100% going into this match.
There's a lot to talk about in this match. On alone, for anywhere else would be a main event. Here, obviously, Santiago and Rad Dad will be the main event. It will be a topic, I'm sure, undoubtedly. But on paper, people would say, oh, Controversy because of his experience. This is his moment to win a match, to get him in a position for a championship. He should be the odds-on favorite. But I would say that any four of you could walk away and win this. And here's why. We just spoke about Be Insane. Obviously, Be Insane to me is the total wild card because of his size, his strength. He's as tall as a glass of water. He's also what he's done in the ring, nothing to sneeze at. You've
Yeah.
got Stephen Havoc, who I compared on Monday's show to Gabe to be the Jeff Hardy of the deathmatch scene right now, meaning that he's always got a spot. He's always doing something that you remember. There's something he's going to do that makes him totally off the wall, that he's dangerous. He's dangerous in that he's going to throw himself literally to the death in order to try to win something. And he's looking for a moment like this. Then we've got yourself. Yourself, obviously, you have had match after match, and you're looking for some gold. You're looking for an opportunity to maybe have a date, also on a bigger stage with, let's say, a Doc Holliday. So to me, I think all four of you in this match could walk away and win. That's why, to me, this is such an unpredictable, too tough to call match, legitimately.
I agree. I mean, it's just going to be all out chaos in this match. I mean, the better man will win this match, and the winner of this match will definitely have earned it. I mean, we're going to put each other through hell. Three of the craziest deathmatch wrestlers in the underground today. We have this giant of a man added to the mix, and it's just going to be pure, utter chaos. And it's something also something that I really can't, get ready for. It's something I can't prepare for. I've wrestled Havoc once. I've wrestled Sane countless times, but I don't know the ins and out of Jimmy Controversy's matches. Yeah. I don't know the ins and outs of Stephen Havoc's matches. So it's something that we're just gonna have to fight the hardest that we can and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, because it's interesting in that we were talking about this last night with Jay the Awesome, and he was saying, yeah, I go out there and I study. I study all my stuff. I prepare for it. And that's how he focuses for what he needs to do out there. Then I had the guy, the Real Deal Eclipse, who's the HCW champion there. And he's like, you know what? I don't really tape study. I go out there and I don't want to think about it. But in your case, what I find is fascinating here is that you're wrestling the night prior. You're going to be, like you said, you're going to be putting your body through God only knows what. So, I mean, how are you going to be able to just almost will yourself through? Because you're going to be in the biggest match of your life. And if it wasn't for CZW, this would probably be the biggest match of your life. And I mean, so how are you going to be able to pull through this and be able to come out here and walk away with a victory?
I'm going to need as much Monster energy drinks as I possibly can. I'm going to need as much iced coffee, as much as I possibly can. I am going to need to sleep in the car as much as I can. And I'm going to need to patch myself up the most that I can. I don't know how to answer that, Tom. It's something that I'm going to just have to go out there and experience it and see what happens and hope for the best. I'll be even able to walk into this match. It's something that I'm looking at realistically. I mean, you start off with CCW with entries and that you haven't even been announced yet. I don't know how many people's going to be in this match. I don't know who is going to be in this match. And then I have to, less than 24 hours later, I have to be wrestling in a fatal 4-way death match. And I don't know, Tom. I don't.
Yeah, it's just, to me, this is Damian Saint talked about this last week on the show, and he talked about being a pro wrestler. He talked about he doesn't just wrestle once a month, and you're now becoming like what Damian Saint said, where you're wrestling not just once a week, you're doing this back to back. So I think this is, to me, what's going to be really fascinating, because it would be Controversy. Normally, that would be the guy that will have wrestled multiple times, but you're the guy, which it can work two ways. It can work in a sense that it's your favor because you just wrestled, you're ready to go, you're going on emotion, you're going on adrenaline, or conversely, you're going to put your body through so much that who knows what's left of you. I think that's why it's a reason why we're very excited about the TF Crew's Day of Atonement, and I want to make sure everybody goes out there and please supports the TF Crew. Please support them on Instagram, YouTube, but really on the Eventbrite page where you can buy a ticket. Please join me and support the wrestlers. Gabe made such a great point in the sense that everybody, by supporting them, you give them opportunities to have more live wrestling. That's what it's about. Gabe said it best. He put it, you can disagree with Gabe on a lot of things, Jake. I'm sure you did for Monday's show, but he said he wants to see more wrestlers get ways to be on live wrestling shows. And the way that we do that is by supporting our wrestlers, buying a ticket, buying merchandise, doing something, sharing the link, whatever it might be to support them. Just like when the IMF guys come on every month, the way we support our wrestlers on this platform. We love having everybody here, but the only way we can keep having all of our wrestlers come on here and continue to support them is to be supporting the live events, the live shows. This is the way our wrestlers are going to continue their careers. So please go out there, at the very least, share the link, tell your friends, hit the notification button, and if you can, buy a ticket, the TF Cruise Day of Atonement. We're going to have plenty of coverage coming up here for it. Caster is here Friday. We'll mix into NEW. I'll get your thought or two on NEW here in a few minutes. And please support the TF crew. And Angel Santiago and Rad Dad should be on here before September the 7th. Let me get to a few more comments. Jake needs his old faithful, that big, beautiful white monster can. Well, Sean Jovi is in the house.
It's not the white monster. It's the original monster flavor, zero sugar version. It's the best zero sugar monster out there, and I'll fight somebody to prove that point.
I think I do remember that, actually. I do remember that because when my brother was in a band, the singer used to always drink that one. So I do remember that. Can I just take a minute? Sean Jovi would like this. I'm going to do this because it's Sean Jovi. Can I just take a minute to say how majestic Jake's beard is? And that's from
I appreciate that.
Very kind of Sean Jovi. What a gentleman and a Rhodes Scholar. Who else we got here? Gabe, the Gabe Band Bren. I don't know why that would be the case. Releases start for the IMF soon. Okay, good. We'll talk about that on Saturday's show. Who else we got here? This is what I want to get to. The NEW crew have all been on a different level. They're only getting better. But we talked about that with Gabe, where we see yourself, right? We see Sane getting those opportunities. Doc Holliday is here. Obviously, I think he's helped in the locker room. Obviously, you talked about Serge, your former best friend. Savage, who used to be. All of you, Kuma, Shima. He's improved drastically. Joe Star. All of you. Ray is going to be here in 2 weeks. I do think that's a good point, objectively speaking, is that you all seem to be improving. You're not just have hit a peak. You've not. To me, you just keep rising. I think that's, to me, what I think is most impressive about what you all have accomplished the last, I don't know, since the calendar year. Let's take it from there.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
Great. No, great. And I do want to give a plug because you are the All Wrestling Matters hardcore champion. I do want to put this out there that if you want to follow the All Wrestling Matters archives page for some matches out there, that you have archives from anything in particular. I think I know this person. It's not me, but the person that runs this account is probably somebody here in the chat. If they want me to say it, I'll say it. But hit the sub button for them because they've got some matches that we've talked about here, some NEW related stuff. You think about the All Wrestling Matters stuff and everything else, Riot in the Ring. Some of that's on your Summer Bash. So please hit the sub button for the All Wrestling Matters page. And like I said, more matches. Anybody else? Well, I think he just said it's Jovi. So I was going to play around and say it's not Sean Jovi, or we'll admit it. But there you go. So hit the sub button for Sean Jovi. And also, how's that drink taste, Captain Obvious? I don't know if that's toward you, Jake, or somebody else. But also, good point here from Spade. We talked about this on Monday's show. There's two of you in the DHC, which means I guess the DHC wins. Maybe that should be on paper. DHC should win on September 7th.
Fingers crossed, my man. Fingers crossed.
Okay, duly noted. I will certainly get to all of that there. Fair play. Also, yep, hello from Jovi. And Steiner math might be more accurate. 50% chance. I think that, listen, Gabe Sayers was 100. No, that was yesterday with Torrance Banks and 141.5%. Jordan Crowley's missing Reyes Silver's segment. That is disappointing, but I would encourage everyone to tune in because I'm very excited about that. But by the way, Just saying, before I do get to the final topic here tonight, Doc Holliday would like to say that he would want a chance at that All Wrestling Matters championship, that hardcore championship would fit him better. And, any comments toward that? He is certainly the TF Crew Tomorrow's End champion. And would you like to give him an answer?
He needs to earn it. He needs to earn the championship match against me.
Okay, well, obviously, he has wrestled you, and maybe you were right, because B Insane has defeated Doc Holliday. The last match I saw, and Doc Holliday is no longer invincible in NEW.
Nope. I mean,
you pinned him in a match, and Insane pinned him right afterwards. So I guess maybe there is something maybe the one and only Doc Holliday's been figured out, and it's time for him to get to the back of the line.
You know what? Maybe, Tom. Maybe.
Okay, well, you know what? That's a possibility, and I did ask it 2 weeks ago, but maybe we will see you in Doc Holliday one more time, but just not for the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Championship. Maybe
I'll meet him in the middle. I'll meet him in the middle. He wants the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Championship. Well, I want the TF Crew Tomorrow's End Championship.
That's a great idea, but do you think he could get past LJ Wash though first?
I mean, you know what? There you go. Maybe that will motivate him a little bit if he's able to defeat LJ Wash, and if he keeps his championship. We'll meet in the middle. I'll put on my title, you put up yours, and we'll face off. But
I tell you what, you have been in some amazing matches the last 6 months, and that is a match that, as a fan, I would like to see you and Doc one more time in a singles match. I don't know if it'll happen this year. That might be difficult based on the calendar and what's left, but I think that there is still unfinished business between you and Doc Holliday. I said it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to say it here before we sign off. There is still, to me, unfinished business between you and Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want some, come get some, but he just has to either, one, earn a championship match, or two, put up his title.
Well, he's putting his title up in less than 3 weeks, and I'm not 100% sure that he walks away with that TF Crew's Tomorrow's End Championship. So I think we're going to have to find out. There is no guarantee that he walks away still with that. We know LJ Walsh has been targeting Doc Holliday, and I'll ask Caster about that for whatever reason on Friday's show. We'll have to find out. And I do like to read the chat backwards. I mean, what can I tell you? It's my thing. Jake, my arms are hurting from cheering on for you for 3 years. That's very impressive. He's been cheering that long. I give him that. A challenge like this is bad for NEW. Watch the 09 Orton come out. Now, I guess this would be my last thing I'm going to ask you, because NEW is returning around the corner here, coming up in a couple of weeks. And is what Doc Holliday saying an omen for what's to come? Maybe here in 2 weeks?
I think Doc needs to lay off the juice, if you know what I'm saying. He likes to indulge a little bit. Maybe he's not in the right mindset, to say the least, if you get what I'm saying right now. Doc, sleep on it, wake up. Don't indulge a little. Think about what you just said. Think about what you just challenged for, and then we can talk. But until then, enjoy your night, Doc, and just lay off the.
Well, we're going to certainly see, but I did want to put it up and spend at least a few minutes on it before we sign off, and that is NEW's return here. All Out War number 11 is just over 2 weeks from now. We spoke a little bit about it with Gabe. I will ask Caster a bit, I'm sure, as well on it. And Rhea Silver certainly will be a big topic with this. But tell us what, for a few minutes, we can expect now that it's a very different landscape here going into the All Out War 11.
You can expect one of the biggest all-out war events that we have ever had. You're going to expect about 18 individuals fighting with all their might just for the opportunity to main event the biggest show of NEW's season, Star Clash. And Gabe Sayers, at this moment, he punched his ticket.
Yep.
I mean, unless he has a match at All Out War, I don't know. But as of right now, if he does not, he will be in the main event of Starclash. And I mean, what a perfect time of winning that championship. However, you have a pissed off Cambodian War Machine, you have Tyson Spade, you have Joe Starr, you have Hiroshima, you have
How about
Kuma.
Kuma, by the way? How about Kuma with that briefcase? Just
Yeah,
saying.
I know. I mean, who's to say? I mean, who knows? It's just going to be something that this event will alter the rest of the season of NEW, and that's all I can say. I can tell you that I'm in the All Out War match, and with 17 other individuals confirmed, it is going to be one hell of the All Out War match. I think the second largest All Out War match that we've ever had. I could be wrong. But I can tell you at least the talent in this match is going to be one of the best All Out War matches that we've had. So I cannot wait.
Okay. Well, is there a possibility that you and Doc Holliday may meet once again? Is that a possibility, or we'll have to stay tuned?
If Doc Holliday is in the All Out War match, then we may certainly meet. If the number game works in either of our favors, then yes, there is a chance that me and Doc Holliday will meet in that ring. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I would have to think that the DHC, this is where you guys regroup, and you would clearly be favorites to win the all-out war because there's just so many of you, and I would anticipate that at the very least almost all of you, or if not all of you, will be in the all-out war.
I will say this, that at this moment, all of the DHC will be in that all-out war match.
And I would think that that's what makes you all even more dangerous. And I would think that that's why we talked about with Gabe, him being the champion. Sure, destiny achieved, but he may only hold that championship for a very brief time. There is no question. Be Insane is in a mood like no other. We know Ray is going to talk a lot about this on Friday, September 5th. You got Tyson Spade, by the way, who's just, I mean, another guy that don't sleep on him. We've had him on here. Remember him and Joe Starr once upon a time. You got Joe Starr, and you've got yourself. I think that's what makes this really so intriguing. And before I do sign off with you, I also talked about the AEW a little bit with Jay the Awesome, and he said that he was interested in traveling and he had NEW on his radar. He did say that the home guys and NEW, and he said everybody talks about NEW and TF Crew. Well, home with NEW, we have history. So I don't know if that's a clue for anything. I don't know, but he certainly did talk about it for the first time. He said, if there's a will and a way, he was interested. So, I mean, I'm sure home guys will be watching closely. Torrance Banks always talks about NEW. I mean, so who knows really? But
well, I'll just put it out this way: the last time that JTA went up against an NEW guy, he lost. So
he did talk about that. He feels that he did say, and I'm glad you brought that up before we sign off, because he did talk about the fact that the home guys, the record that we've had, he said, we've had NEW, Shockey and Vargas went up for the tag titles, Banks had a time in there for a brief, Onyx being in, Grime, and he feels like, well, I haven't been there. Now I'm the guy in home that's won the most matches. I'm the guy that's been in there and been the workhorse of home. And maybe, that would be something different. We know NEW guys were at Shockey's house party. So who knows? I don't know what it means. Could be just people talking, but J to the A did say for the first time he's able to travel. So who knows really? But before we sign off, Doc Holliday does want to say, just wait. Well, we'll certainly be waiting. And by the way, I do want to give a shout out because somebody would like to point out that logo is very beautiful. And I agree. It's a great logo. Definitely know.
Is that guy?
What's that?
Is that Mark that commented?
No,
No.
Mark there. No, okay. Mark. He's just saying that it's a good logo, which I agree. Very well designed. Definitely something that I couldn't put together, but I'm sure whoever put it up together did a great job, a fantastic job. And I would recommend everybody. In fact, it looks like he's gonna laugh at this. It's like Tony Iommi had a solo album once with the logo as Iommi, and it looks almost like that. He'll have to look it up, and it almost looks similar, but not to there. And Ms. Arc Jake. Well, thank you to Ms. Arc Jake. But all right, I've talked a lot with you. You're a very busy man, but I want to ask you if you had any final things you want to talk about, anything else, you want to bring up anything else, whether it's CZW, I know 814, we'll have to wait, but is there anything else that you want to discuss before I give you closing thoughts?
Yes. So actually, X brand, just go and touch back
Sure,
on that for a little bit. They don't
sure.
upload to YouTube all the time. The way to watch their shows, it's a link on the Instagram. I believe it's IWTV. I could be
Yes,
butchering
I
that,
think you know
but
who mentioned it. Shockey mentioned it to me. Yeah.
yeah, you have to pay to watch it. That's where me and Stefan Havoc's match. That's where the main event of Ultraviolent Freedom is on as well. I don't know the price offhand, but yeah, if you guys are interested, go ahead and watch Ultraviolent Freedom on that streaming service. Um, and I can't say too much, but there is a high possibility of me having a 3-day long weekend starting on September 5th and then September 6th and then September 7th with back-to-back bookings.
What you know what? Like I said, you are now becoming the definition of a professional wrestler. Like Damian Saint talked about how some wrestlers, he's not knocking them, that they only wrestle, once a month, and you're now becoming like what Damian Saint said, where you wrestle more than just once a week, but multiple times. That almost reminds me of the flag boy Connor Schaefer. He wrestled 5 times in a week. It was actually 5 times in 4 days. You could potentially be wrestling 3 times in 3 days. You can follow X Brand Wrestling on Instagram. You can see some of the different people that we always talk about here. Shout out to my buddy Blaze the Bingo Hall, who was interviewed some of the different people there, which small world. Mickey Knuckles, obviously. And shout out, by the way, I know you're not going to like to hear this, but Jimmy Knuckles did he actually mentioned to Mickey Knuckles that she should come on Sportswire. So I have to give Jimmy Controversy some props there. Louis Jr. obviously talked a lot about him on Monday's show with Gabe Sayers, who I actually realized lives in South Amboy, New Jersey. He's from South Amboy, and that's where my mother unfortunately moved to. So now I have to ask Louis Jr., hey, where in South Amboy do you live? Because I've actually only been there twice, but I know the address. So who knows there? But this is where you can find X Brand Wrestling. It's IWTV. You can find XPW content on there. You can find some other deathmatch wrestling. I think POR is on there as well. So if you want to watch some of that content, including Jake Dvorak, including Shockey, who's jumping off roofs, jumping off ladders, Stefan Havoc, Mickey Knuckles, you can check out all the big names from X Brand Wrestling and elsewhere. You can go to IWTV. That's where you can go and buy some content. As a matter of fact, we put it up right here. It's Independent Wrestling TV. You can see all that content. And if you have somebody, and I won't say who, but somebody that knows people in the IMF, there's a link, or it's almost like, I don't want to say it because we're on Sportswire, but you can actually get some of this content. There's a way. Maybe I'll tell you off the air. But yes, I agree with Bren. We're very proud of you. Congratulations. I'm going to pass the baton to you for some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? Take it away.
I mean, I got to start off by plugging CZW. I mean, go follow them if you haven't already. I mean, look at the Tournament of Death itself. You
Yeah.
have a bunch of deathmatch legends, a bunch of up-and-coming deathmatch wrestlers, people just putting on one hell of a show. It's going to be crazy to witness my first ever in person watching this Tournament of Death rather than on a computer screen. Not only that, I'm in it. So, I mean, go follow Combat Zone Wrestling, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything and everything. You go follow X Brand. X Brand is one of the craziest federations out there. Doesn't matter where they are, whether it's a basement, whether it's a wrestling ring, backyard. I mean, they're just putting banger after banger after banger. I mean, TF Crew, you go
Yes.
follow TF Crew. That's some of the best really uprising wrestlers in the world today. You see people like Caster, you see people like Christopher Black, you see people like already established names like Louis Jr. and his father. I mean,
Oh, GCW Hall of Famer. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. I mean, wow.
yeah. I mean, just a bunch of great people within all these companies that I've named. I mean, obviously, if you're not watching NEW, if you're not following us by now, go follow it. I mean, more to be announced regarding NEW and everything like that. 814, if you're not following them, go follow. I mean, you get to see D Savage, his championship reign. You get to see Power Surge in his championship reign. Who knows how much longer that's going to last? You might even see Jake Dvorak appear once, twice, three times. Who knows? It's whenever I choose to make that 10-hour drive.
I tell you what, definitely follow CZW. That's the link for you want to buy a ticket to the TF Crew show coming up. Instagram for ZZW. That's
Yes.
there. If you want to follow NEW, we always plug that throughout the shows. That's right here. So please support all these great companies. X Brand Wrestling. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. 814. 814 is on Facebook. They're also on Instagram. They're also on YouTube. Their stuff will eventually be put up. Also, Jake is on TikTok, by the way. Jake has been doing some lives on TikTok, so please follow Jake on TikTok. I know Torrance Banks has been doing lives on TikTok. I know Pootie has been doing lives on TikTok and Twitch. I know also Jason Storm has been doing some stuff on TikTok. So please follow Jake out there on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the great stuff. And Jake is going to be a part of some really, really big matches here coming up, but especially September the 6th. That's going to be CZW Tournament of Death. Please go out there and follow CZW. Also, September 7th, we talked about the elimination match that he's going to be in, that Open Death Invitational against this guy you probably heard of, Jimmy Controversy. Be Insane from the DHC. Definitely know him. He was just the undisputed champion here in NEW. And also this guy, Stephen Havoc, who I compare to be the deathmatch version of Jeff Hardy. And stay tuned. Maybe some more matches you'll see from Jake elsewhere. And, oh, he's in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame once again. Maybe Anthony won't be as humble on Saturday then. So, yeah, because you're catching up to him. But, and who knows? But listen, congratulations. I definitely am looking forward to talking with you maybe after September the 7th. We'll let your body heal a few days, but we'll do that. But definitely congratulations. I think I do agree with Brent. Very, very proud of you. And I think that you are definitely an example to follow, you and Vargas and Savage and, certainly some others. Joey Knight Jr., D'Angelo LaFlame is almost there. Dave Jamieson, I'd like to plug Dave Jamieson, who's done that from the backyard to Wrestle Fuego del Sol. And, so many others out there. It's a long list of people. And there are many of you. And the best is yet to come. A rising tide will lift all boats. Jake Dvorak is all of that. And just don't tell Gabe Sayers. But thank you, my friend. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing the fallout from all of this. And I am sure we'll be talking a lot about you as well this Friday with Caster. So thank you, my friend. Congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, that is the unholy traveler, Jake Dvorak. He is once again in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. You can see him coming up in a few places. Obviously, NEW All Out War 11 with the group DHC. He is the NEW Northeast champion. He is the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore champion. You can also see him coming up on September the 7th, TF Crew's next show, Day of Atonement. He'll be wrestling Be Insane, Stephen Havoc, and Jimmy Controversy in an open death match elimination invitational. He'll also be in the ring coming up September the 6th. That is the announcement here for CZW's Tournament of Death. You'll also see him in 814 wrestling for the Pennsylvania Grand Slam Championship against the one and only Power Surge. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all music and wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportswire Radio, we'll be back here tomorrow night with Robert Scott. Robert Scott is the brand new EWA Central Champion. That is the home of now Dark Crown and Matthew Forsaken. We'll talk about that. And Caster, 8:30 p.m. on Friday. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio with all music and wrestling matters. Thank you, everybody.